Hey, everybody, before we get started tonight, I just want to thank all of you who've been downloading our shows, watching our videos on YouTube, and checking out our website, discgolfexaminer.com. If you are listening to the podcast and you do like this content, please rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, wherever you're listening to this podcast. We would really appreciate it. It means so much in the show. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 3 of Disc Golf Examiner. We got some great things packed in the show for you today. We have Adam, who's going to give us an update on the USDGC. We're going to meet Tonia of Double Par Designs, as she has a big event coming up and a charity to raise money for breast cancer awareness and to help people battling the disease. We also have Cody Winget, a local pro here in Pittsburgh. He's going to talk to us about getting started in the game, hosting events, and he's even going to talk about his big event coming up at Nob Hill in Pennsylvania. And finally, we're going to tease up Grow Disc Golf Day. We went out this morning and shot a video. We're bringing 2 new groups of people into the sport of disc golf. We have a special segment we'll talk about at the end of the show. And first, let's bring in everybody to the show. It's Adam and Brian. How's it going tonight?
Going well as always. We're just hanging out, doing our podcast thing.
Doing the podcast thing again.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired from today. Took a little nap after our video. Feel pretty good now.
Awesome. So Adam, you had some updates for us on the USDGC. Kind of give us a background. What is it for some of our new players out there, and what happened this weekend?
So the United States Disc Golf Championship is the last big event of the tournament season for most of the big name players. For a while, it was considered the most prestigious event. It's held in South Carolina at Winthrop University. It's a challenging course. It's very wide open, but the tournament officials rope off a lot of out of bounds. There's a lot of tricky rules, and you have to play really smart because it is literally, you can have a 10-stroke lead and lose it on one hole. A lot of interesting things happened this week. Eagle McMahon, who's probably I would say, one of the up-and-coming young players in the game, through 2 awesome rounds to start the week. Day 3, Eagle had his bad round. Jeremy Colling jumped him, and then everything kind of went to hell, really, because Hurricane Matthew was on the horizon. They were originally going to move some pin location. The water was going to be a little less in play in case there was overflow or anything like that. And then the weather got so bad that the tournament director was going to postpone Saturday's round to Sunday, so a lot of the pros were PO'd because, hey, we've got travel plans, blah, blah, blah. So the weather ended up being bad enough that they canceled the round, and Jeremy Colling ended up being the winner after 3 rounds. So, yeah, that was that. There's videos up on YouTube. It's an awesome course to watch the pros destroy.
There's even a Sports Center clip that came out of the 3rd round, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was an ace. Ricky Iwasaki threw an ace. That hole specifically is it's gotten quite a few people over the years. It's an island hole. There's water long, and then there's hay bales right in front of where the 2 baskets are. And if you miss, you basically have to re-tee until you hit the island. So you can take huge numbers there.
Yeah, we've seen some scores change on that hole.
Yeah, that is definitely the separator, one of many.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for the update, Adam. I know a lot of our listeners are interested in competing in competition. If you are, that's definitely one to look for on YouTube. There's tons of footage out there. Spin TV, especially I was watching, did a real nice job covering it. They do it in about 9 whole segments per video. So you can go back and watch the first few rounds and get all caught up and watch some really top-level disc golf. Also on discgolfworldtour.com/live, they have the live scoring up from the event, and it's interactive. So you can actually, on some of the holes, there's a little red triangle. If you click on it, you can actually see footage of that throw on their live scoring. It's a really cool feature that they have on their website. That's discgolfworldtour.com/live. And you can play around and see all kinds of amazing things and shots.
The other, where was I going to go? I literally just blanked.
I have something to say about Ricky's shot.
Go for it. I know where I'm going, but yeah, go for it.
So that ace was, he couldn't have made that thing look any easier. It just came right out of his hand, went straight into the basket. I just couldn't believe that with the wind, and it had water behind it, correct? Like a lot of water.
Yeah. Yeah, the lake is literally right behind you on that hole.
And he couldn't have made it look any easier. It was just fantastic. Great throw. And if you do go and look up that shot, just be expecting like the coolest disc golf shot you've ever seen. I was so impressed.
Yeah, that shot is on the interactive scoring. You can see it. Oh, Adam, thank you for that update from the USDGC. That's really great stuff. A lot of our listeners are getting into playing competitively. They're new to the sport, and they kind of want to know what's going on. Those are some great resources to get started on listening to and catching up on the USDGC and seeing what the pro level competition's like. But let's get right into our first interview tonight. We're going to meet Tonia from Double Par Designs. She's got a big event coming up on October 16th. There's no close on registration. There's no cap on registration. You can register the morning of. It's going to be in Oklahoma at Will Rogers. It's a charity event, so she's helping to raise money and awareness for breast cancer. It is October, but this is her first event. She's never hosted an event before, and we're going to go through her setting up her company and getting ready to host an event. And at the time of recording, she already had 71 teams, right? It's a doubles competition. She had 71 doubles teams already registered to go. So let's get right into that interview. Okay, here we are. We have Tonia joining us tonight from Double Par Designs. How's it going, Tonia?
It's going really good. How are you?
I'm doing well. For those of you who have followed us since the beginning, Tonia was actually our first interview ever back in 2014. We approached her. She was the first one to say yes, the first one to say, absolutely, let's do an interview. Very grateful to have her. Now we're going to kind of catch up with her and see what she's doing now in 2016. So one of the things we asked you back then is, do you remember the first disc that you threw? 2 years later, can you still remember the very first disc you ever threw?
I know it was, if I remember, I think it was a Millennium. I'm trying to remember what the actual type. I know the brand was a Millennium because those were the ones I very first started out with. I'd never even played with Innova or even heard of Innova for that matter, or, Dynamic or none of that. So it was a Millennium that I first threw with.
And where did you have your first game at? Do you remember, the situation? How did you end up getting involved and start playing disc golf?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. I actually, honestly, was first introduced to disc golf by a date.
Oh.
Yes. My ex-boyfriend at the time, also ex-business partner for Double Par, he had was taking me out for a first date, and he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of disc golf?" And I had said, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." He said, "It's outdoors, it's fun." And I said, "All right, I'm down." And I wasn't real sure what to think at first. But after a couple months, I decided to join him, play around. It was actually at Will Rogers Park here in the city, and immediately fell in love with it. I really sucked at first, but I immediately fell in love with the sport.
How long have you been playing? So when did that first happen?
That's probably been about 4 years ago now.
4 years ago? And then from that time period, you started to play, your game progressed, and you started thinking about maybe there's a business here, maybe there's an idea or something I could do to support the community. And is that how Double Par came about, just from your passion of the game?
Yes, it was. A big part was my passion for it. Another part is I have a graphics background, and I just kind of noticed in all of the merchandise and apparel there wasn't a lot of women-focused shirt designs. And that was, and being a woman and with disc golf being a primarily male sport, not a lot of females played, I wanted to do something and focus on the female part of the sport. So originally I was like, you know what, I'm a graphic artist. I have experience in printing and t-shirts. You know what, let's start a business and let's try some women's shirt designs.
And how were you received at first? When you came out with the first designs, even from the men and from the women, did you see a difference between how you were received and accepted within the community?
I was very greatly accepted into the community. I'd already been, kind of gone to a couple tournaments here and there. And my very first, tournament where I took a bunch of my shirts was a tournament called the Duncan Hill Climber in Duncan, Oklahoma. I took, I think I had like 75 of my shirts printed. I had 2 different designs. Took it out there. I was definitely taking a leap of faith, hoping that people would buy them because it was all personal. I upfront personal cost. And it actually went really well. I sold several shirts, and I was approached by at that time I was approached by the vice president of the Oklahoma City Disc Golf Association. He said, hey, have you ever designed hot stamps for discs? And I was like, nope, never even thought about it, not real sure. And he said, well, if you're ever interested, he said, we'd love to have you do some artwork for us for our club. And I was like, okay, great. So that's kind of where Double Par became more than just women's shirts. It stepped over into tournament artwork or tournament designs.
And now, when we first spoke back in 2014, you were going to school, playing disc golf, getting Double Par really up off the ground and up and running. And, here we are 2 years later, you've since graduated. Congratulations. But now you have a full-time job. So how has life changed? How has disc golf and the company changed as far as your time constraints?
Honestly, it hasn't changed too much. I am very busy. My full-time job keeps me busy by itself. Double Par, again, being a small business and having, it's been very successful, so that keeps me busy. Personal-wise, organized, detail-oriented, so that helps me be able to multitask between my full-time job and between Double Par. I'm also, on the board I'm on the board for our local disc golf association, so I have to balance that in between all of that as well. But somehow I find a way to do it, and I love every minute of it.
And tell me a little bit more about your local chapter. So your local disc golf club. For a lot of our listeners are newer players. They're getting into it, and they may not completely understand what a club is, what a club does, and just kind of go over the basics of your club and what you see its effect on the local community.
Our club was originally created in 2010. Our primary mission is to grow the sport, most disc golfers feel the same way. The way we do that is by building new courses in the metro. We just recently finished a new 18-hole course at a local disc golf course that already has one. We just built another second 18-hole course at the same park, so now we have 2 courses at that park. And that's our primary mission, is to build more courses, get more people involved in our tournaments, have them come out, new players. I can tell you, as being on the board and helping run tournaments here recently, we don't even recognize half of the names that come and play our tournaments, because they're all new players in the city, which is awesome to see. I've been on the board for almost 2 years now, and when I first started, I recognized everybody that would register for our tournament. But we just recently had a tournament a couple months ago, and I swear probably at least half to almost 3/4 we didn't even recognize the names, because they're all new players, which is really awesome to see.
Speaking of tournament director and events, Double Par has a big event coming up. I believe, is it the 16th of this month?
Yes. It is actually my very first ever tournament. Birdies for Boobies is what I decided to call it. It is a breast cancer charity tournament. I chose to do breast cancer for the charity, and in October, I am a breast cancer survivor. And actually, I will be 2 years cancer-free the day before the tournament.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, pretty exciting. And so along with those, like when I first started Double Par, I wanted to do women's designs. Eventually, I added some men's designs as well. I started doing designs for tournaments and other clubs and stuff. But one of my main goals as well was always to have a tournament. And I really wanted to do a breast cancer tournament. And with the help of the local club, they've been a huge supporter of me and helping me out. And so it's finally coming to fruition. I'm pretty excited, a little nervous, but being my first tournament for Double Par anyway. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's definitely growing. I believe I checked earlier tonight, and so far we have 71 teams registered.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I never expected that. Because it's a bring your own partner doubles. It's 1 round, 27 holes. I chose to do it at Will Rogers, which is my home course where I learned to play, which also happens to be an original steady ed course.
Oh, great.
Yeah, very cool. So I guess when I first decided to run or have the tournament, I was expecting maybe 30, 35 teams. But like I said, when I checked earlier tonight, I have 71 teams so far, and we're still a week out.
Wow. How long is registration open till?
Day of.
So you can register the morning of if you want to show up?
Yep. We are not capping the tournament. Since it is just a fun tournament, it's for charity, we decided not to cap it. And it is 27 holes, so we can, that allows us to be able to put a few teams per card. So I'll be curious to see how many teams we end up with by next Sunday.
And what's the format going to be for the doubles?
For the most part, as of right now, it's just going to be best shot for the most part because there are so many teams.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to throw anything crazy like we do for, like our club does for our tournaments. We'll throw in worst shot or, alternate shot. We probably won't do anything like that. For the most part, it's probably going to be best shot to keep speed of play, and so it doesn't, holes don't get too backed up.
Okay. And is there a designated charity that you're focused on?
Yes. There is a local organization. It's called Oklahoma Project Women. And what they do is it's a nonprofit organization, and they help women with no insurance or low income with free breast exams, mammograms. They also help with diagnostic services and surgical services. Being a breast cancer survivor myself, thankfully I had a good job and, had good insurance, but there are a lot of people out there that don't have that, that have that luxury. And so being a small business, owning and running a small business, I wanted to give back to another smaller organization. And so I chose them. Half of the proceeds of the tournament will be given to the charity.
Great. And will there be other on-site events, any 50-50s or basket fundraisers?
There are going to be some side games. There's another local club that has been helping me out quite a bit. They're called the Willbillies.
Okay.
And they stem from the Will Rogers course, hence the name Willbillies. So they have been helping me out a lot. They're going to be helping me with course layout. They're also one of the gentlemen. He's going to be cooking or grilling out lunch for everybody at no cost. So they've been on Saturdays, they do Saturday night glow minis out at Will Rogers, and all of the mulligan money that they've been getting from their little minis is going towards Birdies for Boobies.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to be doing some side games at, throughout the tournament and on some of the holes.
Well, this is incredible how fast it's grown, and it already exceeded your expectations. Have any sponsors hopped on, and is anybody else supporting you? Any other businesses?
Yes, actually. When I first started advertising the tournament, I offered a t-shirt sponsorship and hole sponsorship. And as of right now, we had 12 t-shirt sponsors. So 12 different organizations and or people donated $75 to be a t-shirt sponsor. And hole sponsors, that is $25. And I so far have 27 hole sponsors.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Pretty amazing.
The outpouring of the support as far as the sponsors goes, it has been amazing, and far exceeded any of my expectations, that's for sure.
That's really amazing. How about if anybody from around the country, they can't make it that weekend, they have plans, they want to be there, they want to support in some way, is there any way for anybody to make donations to help out the cause?
Yes, definitely. If anyone would be interested in making a donation, they could contact me through my page on Facebook, which is Double Par Designs.
And is the website up and running, or?
I do have the website up, but right now the only page that's live on the website is the registration page for Birdies for Boobies. I'm in the process of having more added to the website. I just needed something really quick and fast for the registration for the tournament. And so I had a friend of mine, he offered to design it for me. And so I've got the host and all of that good stuff. So now I'm just trying to get through Birdies for Boobies, and then I will be building more on the website.
Let's say you said up until the day of you can register, but you can also register at your website. That's doublepardesigns.com.
Yes.
And this is great. I hope that you'll come back after the event, maybe after things settle down a week or two later. Give us an update. Let us know how it went. Wish we could be there. We're in Pittsburgh, so it's a little bit of a drive for us.
That is quite a drive.
Yeah, but we would love to hear how it turned out, what you raised and gave back to the community. That's kind of what we want to do, tell the stories of disc golf. And this is a great story of something that's happening in the community. That's a disc golfer giving back, and it's such a personal way too.
Thank you. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I would definitely love to come back and let you know how everything goes.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Tonia. It was really appreciate you catching up with us, and thanks again, and best of luck to Double Par.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, just came back from that interview. That was amazing. Nice to hear Tonia's growth. As we heard, Tonia was the very first interview with Disc Golf Examiner 2 years ago, and to catch up with her now and hear what she's doing and the amazing impact she's having on her local scene, it's pretty incredible. What'd you guys think of that?
I think it's great. I think the charity work that she's doing is really important and really needed. So I really give her a lot of props.
Yeah, charity is a lot of those kind of events are good to just build connections in the community and help grow the sport. So that's awesome.
Okay, we got one more interview tonight. We have local pro Cody Winget. He sat down with all three of us. We had a really great conversation learning about how he got started in the game, actually how he bought his first disc. We heard that story, how his game progressed, how he trains through winter. Pittsburgh is a 4-season town. So, how do we in Pittsburgh maintain our skills through the winter? And we also learned about his upcoming event at Knob. You guys know anything about that?
I'll be playing my last event of the year. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be hard.
What's it called? Slaughterfest?
Steel City Slaughterfest.
It's got all the holes in the toughest position, and I think a bunch of metal music. So let's get right into Cody's interview.
Check up.
Brian here for Disc Golf Examiner. I'm here with Cody Winget, Adam Couture, Jeff Ravilla, and we're here to talk to Cody Winget about his life as a local pro here in Pittsburgh, PA. Cody, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to catch a little bit of footage of you at the Indiana Open. We've actually covered a couple rounds with you this year. How's the year going for you?
The year's been going pretty well. I did have some troubles with some injuries early on in the season, and I'm finally starting to get healthy again. So it's only moving up now, and I've been playing better lately because of it.
All right. So Cody, I was wondering, how many years have you been at this disc golf?
Disc golf, I started playing about 6 years ago. I broke my wife's family's Frisbee, and I needed to replace it. So we're at the local establishment, North Country Brewery, and they sold Frisbees there. And I asked one of the guys that worked there, I was like, hey, can I buy a Frisbee? He said, well, you want a golf disc or you want a Frisbee? And I said, what is a golf disc? And, started telling me about the local courses around, and actually the Pittsburgh Flying Discs Open was that weekend, and some of the top pros were coming to visit, and he said, hey, you should go really check it out, and bought a Mako from Innova from them, and went out the next day to Nob Hill and got instantly hooked. So it was interesting way to get into disc golf.
Yeah. Everybody seems to get into it because they were introduced from a friend or a family member. It's kind of cool to hear the story that you had a choice and you chose a golf disc over your Frisbee disc. That's
exactly. I didn't know what I was getting myself into 6 years ago.
That's right.
You started playing about 6 years ago, and you kind of walk us through the journey as your game grew and you found sponsorships, and you became more competitive in tournaments. For a lot of our listeners are newer players, they're just getting into the game, and they're curious about that path and that journey. What was it like for you?
I would say that it's a long journey. It takes a lot of practice. Starting out, you start playing your couple rounds, every other week or so, and then you want to get better and better. So you really have to put the time in. And me being a competitive person, I grew up playing hockey and other sports, so I've always had that winning drive where I want to make myself better. And so I really took the next step and found the local disc golf scene in our area, which is the Pittsburgh Flying Disc Society. And they ran tournaments, and I wanted to start playing in those tournaments. And that wasn't enough for me, so I wanted to, branch out and see what else was around the region, and it eventually just kept growing out. And, the further I traveled, the better the competition gets, so the more practice you get in. So, I've started a regimen where I practice putting 45 to an hour every day. I go play several practice rounds a week, and it's a very dedicated effort to stay competitive.
Obviously we're all Pittsburghers here, and Pittsburgh is a 4-season town. It's great playing in the summer, spring, and fall. What do you do we got winter coming up, what do you do to push yourself through the winter? Are you playing year round? Are you doing different things indoors during that time? What's your winter regiment look like?
Winter, it's tough because you have the lack of daylight, and working a regular day job, you get off work and it's dark. So staying active and getting the reps in is very difficult in the winter. I definitely play as many weekends as I possibly can. I play through the snow, but if I can't get out and play, I'm trying to stay fit and my body in shape, and I play a lot of hockey during the winter, sometimes on 2 teams, so keep the energy up and the weight down, but still get out and practice putting as much as I can. And in the winter it gets a little tough because it is a little windier, and you're putting in snow and you're putters are getting all icy, and it's just battling through it, and making sure that you're getting the reps in so you're ready come spring.
Yeah, this past winter we got lucky; it wasn't so bad. Is there a favorite course you have in Pittsburgh for whenever it's cold weather out there? If you can get out, what course would you prefer to go to out of all of them?
I mean, no matter what the weather is, I love getting to Deer Lakes. It's my home course, not too far from it. So anytime I can get there and play, it's an absolute treat. No matter what season it is, it's just a pleasure playing there.
So you also are big into the Pittsburgh Flying Disc Society. You are the communication director for them. Could you do we have anything big coming up? Any events? Anything just newsworthy that we have coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been on the PFDS board for a few years now, and my job as a communication director is to, get the information about local events and community events that are and things like that are going on. The big thing that's coming up right now is that we're going to have our elections for 4 of the open positions coming up in October, November area. So the ballots are being filled right now. So if anybody's interested in filling a spot on the board, then feel free to contact me and we can get you on the ballot if you're interested in making a difference in the local scene. And if your Pittsburgh Flying Disc Society isn't your local club, reach out to your local club and find out how you can help them out as well.
Just to back up a little bit, what is a club and what does a club do for your local scene? Why should you get involved and support your local club?
Well, I mean, your local club is really what brings the courses to your area to life. There's usually 1 or 2 really dedicated individuals that are really doing the work with parks departments, and once they get those into a place, then you need the whole club and members throughout the whole community to help build the course, get the course ready, and do a lot of maintenance on the course. And then once the course is in place, you got to keep up with it. So being a part of the club is only helping out the courses. So, if you're playing your local course, find out if you guys have a club and help out, because there's always welcome hands.
Another common theme that keeps running up when we talk about clubs and local scene is the generosity of disc golf and the disc golf community. What are some of the things that the PFDS does to support the local community throughout the year?
We work hand in hand with the parks departments for the different courses, and for instance, Moraine State Park, they do their annual regatta, and we do like a learn to play event with all the people that come out for the regatta. There's a bus that ships people over, and we take the people, give them a short demonstration on what disc golf is, how to throw the disc, go through a couple putting routines, and then we'll take them out on the course and have them play a couple holes. If they're interested in playing more holes, they're more than welcome to go about it. And that's just one of the things that our club does. We run several events. We make donations to charity. From fundraising from tournaments. I think we donated several $1,000s to ALS last year from donations and fundraising. So it's more than just disc golf. It's helping out the community, and hopefully the community helps you back in the end.
The Ice Bowl that happens in February, that's a big fundraiser. Is that specific to a specific charity?
Yeah, the Ice Bowl every year. Mark Karstopnik, our membership director, he runs that, and the fundraiser is for the food bank, and we donate end up donating a couple $100s from the fundraising from the players that join and play, and then also food donations. And I think last year, we had somewhere around 200 pounds of food that we donated.
Wow, that's amazing. Cool. And now the season usually winds down right about now, but the funny thing is you have a tournament coming up. Is that correct?
Yeah, Running a tournament October 22nd, Steel City Slaughterfest. It's going to be at Nob Hill, and we're going to have all the pins in the most difficult locations, and also making some tweaks to the course to make the tournament even harder. So it should be a real treat, or trick, if you will, since it's going to be Halloween time.
Yes. Should I bring my own toilet paper, or is that not required?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of a requirement.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. So, Slaughterfest coming up. How much is it to enter?
It depends on the division that you're in. It's $55 for the pro division. For women, the pro division for women, it's $50, and for the amateur divisions for women, it's $40, and then for advanced, it's $50, and I believe for intermediate, it's $45. $40. So it's the middle of the road for your tournament, but the amateurs are going to get a great players pack this time. They're going to get an awesome custom logo stamped disc, and also a silly pint glass, which is this really super cool glass that you get that's made of silicone, and it's really cool, and it has the Slaughterfest logo on it as well. So the AMs should definitely come out and check it out. It's a lot of fun.
How's the aspect of being a tournament director, Cody?
Being a tournament director is a little stressful. There's a lot of work before the tournament even comes close to starting, getting player packs for players, and, setting up sponsorships, and, getting the course, in ready for play. And then once the tournament's actually the day of, that's the easy part. You're just, there's nothing that you can do, and you're just, riding all your hard work that you did prior to, getting to that point. So tournament director is really fulfilling, though. It's a thankless job, but, you really like doing it in the end.
Awesome.
So this isn't your first time being a tournament director. You've had other events, and can you think back to your first event? Did it go as smoothly as you had hoped?
Yeah, so I'm relatively new to running tournaments. About 3 years ago, I ran the Trilogy Challenge, and that was really my first intro into tournament directing. It's a lot of fun running events, especially the beginner-friendly events like the Trilogy Challenge or Ace Race, the Birdie Bash, things like that. It's great running those type of events because you get players that are new to the game, and they show that sparkle in their eye, or something like that, where they just fall in love with the game. And it's really cool getting people that are new to the game out and introducing them to that. And then I've slowly run several other events and PDGA leagues throughout the Pittsburgh region, and it's just a lot of fun running events like that.
What's the most challenging thing about putting an event together? Is it getting the momentum?
I think the hardest part about running a tournament is the organizing part, where getting people to sign up and finding the fundraising to make it the best event available, or that you can, for the players, so they have the best time. It's all about the players, and you want them to have a good time in the end. Like the tournament that I'm running, Steel City Slaughterfest, later this month. I'm having a players party afterwards, and I'm trying to have live music after the tournament's over, and there's going to be a Haunt on the Hill glow event after. So it's just trying to enhance the experience for the players the best that you can.
Cody, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on Disc Golf Examiner. Once again, can you give us all the information on Slaughterfest?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on again. And Slaughterfest is October 22nd at Nob Hill. Registration's on discgolfscene.com. If you guys need any help moving forward, I'd love to help you guys out any way I can. It's been a blast being a part of your show.
All right, we just came back from Cody's interview. What'd you guys think of that? You were all there.
Whoa, I was there.
You were there.
Cody has been a friend of us for a while now, and actually he's really helped me progress my game a lot. So it's really great to talk with Cody and have a sit-down interview with him and see what's going on with him this year, because this past year has been very busy for all of us, and he it's kind of cool to hear his story, because you don't always, when you're out there on the course playing with somebody, you don't always get their full story. So this way, everybody knows and nobody can forget.
All right, and finally, we teased it up at the beginning of the show. We're here to talk about it and tease it up again. This morning, Brian and I went out to a local course. We went to Shenley Park, right in downtown Oakland. It overlooks the city of Pittsburgh. It's got a nice little view at the top of the hill. We were doing something because there is an event coming up called Grow Disc Golf Day. It's been a big thing. Dynamic Discs has always been a grow the sport company, sharing the word of disc golf and spreading the passion and love we have for the game with new players. So we wanted to do the Disc Golf Examiner twist on it. And Brian, you want to fill us in on what happened this morning?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a ton of fun. It was really great. So what we wanted to do with this Grow Disc Golf Day was we started off by wanting to make this a video about people just being interested in the sport, just getting into it for the first time, and kind of getting their reactions to the way that they start off. And so what we decided to do, I had a couple friends in a comedy troupe here in Pittsburgh called Hustlebot. And so I asked them if they'd like to go out and throw some discs. And they said yes. And they said, oh, you know what else we can do? There's a local wrestling promotion in town called the KSWA. It's the Keystone State Wrestling Alliance. Let's see if we can get a couple of those guys in the mix. And so we have wrestlers versus comedians for none of which have played disc golf before. And it was a really fun time out. A little competitive, but a lot of fun. And there's nothing wrong with competitive at the beginning, especially, when we're all goofing around. And it was really great. We had a local pro, Vinny Montanari, come out, and he did some instructional. We had a local pro, Vinny Montanari, come out, and he did some instructional things with the guys, showed them how to throw, showed them how to play the game, and we just had a blast. Once again, wrestlers versus comedians, first time out playing disc golf. I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you, Jeff.
Oh, it was a blast. So much fun. We just sat back and let them do what they do best, and that was entertain. They are entertainers first and foremost, and it completely came out today on the course. They had a blast. They talked a little trash to each other. It was all in good fun. Even after the camera stopped rolling, they were completely surprised at how much fun they had. They said that was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. So if anything, we may have 5 new people into the disc golf world. Hopefully we can get them back out again.
Yeah, and I need to say a special thanks to Dynamic Discs and Bobby Brown, who sent us out some special truth discs with Grow Disc Golf Day on them for the video. So special thanks to them for being able to do that for us.
I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. Tonia from Double Par Designs, great interview, very inspirational. Still, her event is open for registration. If you're out in Oklahoma, search for Birdies for Boobies. And thank you to Cody Winget from Pittsburgh, PA. He's got a big event coming up as well. Check it out. It's Steel City Slaughterfest at Nob Hill in Pittsburgh. You can still register on Disc Golf Scene. And Brian, you want to send it home?
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Can't wait to hear from you next time. Keep banging those chains in the meantime.